Most people think the first money they invest is too small to matter. They believe it is just a test run, something symbolic, something that does not really count. But what if that belief is the most expensive mistake a young adult can make? Because the first money you invest does not just grow or shrink, it trains you. It shapes how you think about risk, patience, confidence, and time. Long before the results show up in an account, the real investment has already happened in your mindset. If you are a young adult standing at the edge of your investing journey, holding that first meaningful amount of money, this moment matters more than you might realize. Not because it will make you rich overnight, and not because it guarantees success. It matters because it sets the direction, and direction over time is everything. This is not a story about chasing quick wins or secret strategies. It's about learning how to think like an investor before you ever call yourself one. And it starts with understanding what that first investment is really for. Most young adults approach investing with one question burning in their mind: where should I put this money? But that question skips the most important step. The better question is, who do I need to become so that this money works for me instead of controlling me? Money is emotional, especially when it's the first time you are trusting it to something you cannot fully control. Fear whispers that you will lose it. Excitement tells you this could change everything. Social media adds pressure by showing people who appear to have figured it all out. Somewhere between those emotions, good decisions are made or missed. Before the money goes anywhere, it needs a job. Not a fantasy, not a dream of instant success, but a clear role. This first investment is not meant to prove intelligence or bravery. It's meant to build habits. It's meant to teach discipline. It's meant to help you stay calm when markets move and opinions shift. Many young adults believe investing means picking the perfect opportunity. In reality, investing is about consistency, not perfection. The goal is not to be right all the time. The goal is to stay in the game long enough for time to do the heavy lifting. That is why the first rule of investing your first money is simple but powerful. Do not treat it like disposable cash. Even if the amount feels small compared to what you hope to earn someday, treat it with respect. What you practice now becomes automatic later. One of the smartest things a young adult can do is focus less on exciting stories and more on boring systems. Boring systems are often the ones that quietly work while everyone else is distracted. They are not flashy, they don't promise overnight results, but they are built on patience, balance, and realism. This is where many beginners get pulled in the wrong direction. They see headlines about dramatic gains. They hear stories about someone who made a fortune by taking a big risk. What those stories often leave out is how rare those outcomes are, and how many people tried the same thing and failed quietly. Investing is not about proving courage, it's about managing uncertainty. That means spreading risk, thinking long-term, and accepting that growth usually looks slow before it looks impressive. For young adults, time is the greatest advantage. Time allows small decisions to compound into meaningful results. But time only works if you stay invested and avoid emotional decisions. That is why simplicity matters so much at the beginning. A simple approach allows you to understand what you own and why you own it. It reduces stress. It makes it easier to stay consistent. Complexity often feels smart, but it usually creates confusion and second-guessing. Another important truth is that investing is not separate from life. It's connected to your income, your goals, your habits, and your patience. If you invest money you might need soon, stress will follow. If you invest without understanding your own comfort with risk, panic becomes more likely. That first investment should not stretch you emotionally. It should feel meaningful but manageable. The goal is confidence, not anxiety. When you feel calm, you make better decisions. Education is also part of the investment, even if it doesn't show up on a statement. Learning how markets work, how different assets behave, and how emotions influence decisions is just as valuable as the money itself. The more you understand, the less likely you are to react impulsively. Some young adults worry they need to wait until they know everything before investing. That moment never comes. Learning happens through experience. The key is to start responsibly, learn continuously, and adjust when needed. There's also a powerful mindset shift that happens when you invest your own money. You stop seeing money only as something to spend. You begin to see it as something that can work quietly in the background. That shift changes how you approach saving, spending, and earning. Now let's pause for a moment, because this is where many viewers drift away. This is where attention drops and distractions creep in. So here's a question worth sitting with. What if the real value of your first investment is not what it earns, but what it prevents? What if it prevents future mistakes, emotional decisions, and missed opportunities that could cost far more later? When you see investing this way, the pressure lifts. You stop expecting perfection. You stop comparing yourself to others. You focus on progress instead of outcomes. Another mistake young adults make is trying to time everything perfectly. Waiting for the perfect moment often means never starting. Markets move, news changes, opinions shift. The perfect time is usually clear only in hindsight. A steady approach, guided by long-term thinking, often outperforms dramatic moves driven by emotion. This does not mean ignoring risks. It means understanding them and planning accordingly. Diversification matters because the future is unpredictable. No one knows which industries will dominate, which companies will struggle, or which global events will shape markets. Spreading exposure reduces the impact of being wrong about any single idea. Patience is not passive. It's an active decision to stay the course when emotions try to pull you away. It's choosing discipline over excitement. It's trusting a process even when results are not immediate. Young adults also benefit from remembering that investing is a marathon, not a sprint. Early stages are about learning how to run properly, not about breaking records. Speed comes later, after form and endurance are built. Your first investment should leave room for future growth, not just financially, but mentally. You want to reach a point where investing feels normal, not stressful, where market movement feels interesting, not terrifying. As time passes, confidence grows, decisions become clearer, the noise becomes easier to ignore, and all of that starts with the first step. Near the end of every investing journey, people often look back and realize the most important moment was not when they made the most money. It was when they decided to start and stick with it. That first investment represents belief in your future self. It says you trust that the person you are becoming will benefit from the patience you show today. That belief is powerful. So, if you are a young adult wondering what to do with your first investment, remember this: you are not just investing money, you are investing in habits, perspective, and long-term thinking. You don't need to be fearless, you need to be consistent. You don't need perfect timing, you need commitment. You don't need to impress anyone, you need to build something quietly and steadily. And one day, without a dramatic moment or a viral headline, you'll realize how far that first step carried you. If this perspective helped you think differently about investing, take a moment to show your support. Like the video so more people can discover it. Subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful conversations about money, mindset, and growth. And share your thoughts in the comments. What was your first experience with investing? Or what questions are still on your mind? Your journey is just beginning, and the decisions you make now have more power than you think.